Okay, welcome to another episode of Above the Bridge podcast. I'm your host, Thaddeus. I have my producer here, Boy Band John. So let's see. Today, I'm really excited for this guest. He's been a pillar in the Kaneohe community for a long time. He's a teacher in one of the elementary schools in Ewa Beach. He's also the assistant director at 24/7 Danceforce, and he's a director for the next generation, which is the children at 24/7 Danceforce. And that's a huge school for dance in Kaneohe at Winter Mall. I'm glad to introduce Mr. Allan Lau. What's up, Allan?
What's up, Thad?
Did I get that right? I had it all correct, right?
Yeah, no, that was perfect. That was perfect.
All right, man. So how's everything been going at the studio?
Well, things are going, pretty good. I mean, with the shutdown, it was challenging. It's been challenging since that time because, we miss the kids. We miss seeing them, having them in person. The energy is so different. Yeah, when the kids are there and you can just feel that physical presence. So it's been hard. We had Zoom classes going on throughout the whole summer, and it wasn't the same. It wasn't the same watching it. It wasn't the same vibe we got from the kids. They don't get the feedback of the mirrors or the feedback from the teacher because the teacher cannot focus on it. So it's been challenging, but the kids have been super persistent and persevering through it, and we've got a good core group of kids that show up. So yeah, it's been good though. Yeah, we're hanging in there.
Are you guys reopening anytime soon?
Matter of fact, last week Thursday, when the mayor moved us to tier 2, we were able to have 5 in person. So that's been helpful. It would be better if we could have more. So we're hoping for tier 3 to happen pretty soon. But so we've been back in person at least with the kids in the studio. Prior to that, we were able to at least have the teachers teach from the studio. But it'd be nice to have normal size classes again, hopefully soon.
Yeah, because your guys' classes are pretty full. Just a little background about 24/7. You guys were always at Windward Mall.
Since I've been there, yes, we've been at Windward Mall. I want to say the original studio when it first opened up was actually in Mapunapuna.
Oh wow!
We shared a space with HITS Gymnastics out in Moanalua area, and then we moved to Kaneohe, right where used to be Clambake, Hawaii, right on Kahuhipa Street.
Oh, I remember Clambake. That's a throwback.
Yeah. The actual first independent studio that we had when we were on our own, and then we moved to Windward Mall. Before we've moved. This is our 3rd location in the mall. The first time we were in the mall, we were downstairs where the food court is, next to Sears, the corner of Sears, and then we were at the old Tilt location.
Yeah, that one kind of bummed me out because I grew up going to Tilt to see get dismantled. That was disappointing, but it was for a good reason.
Yeah, yeah, and then we moved last year to where we're at now, upstairs by the theaters. Yeah.
So 24/7 has been around for a while, and growing up in Kaneohe, of course, I would hear about it, and a lot of your students went on to do huge things. I went on your website, and just reading everything that your students have done is mind-blowing. The artists that they work with, the people that they come in contact with, and the competitions they've been winning it's big league stuff. Like, you guys are putting out some unreal talent.
Yeah, I mean, we've been super fortunate that us, we're a pretty small studio actually compared to some of the other ones across the island, but I think our students have gone on to be successful in the industry, I think because of and I mean, I only know 24/7, so I can't speak for other studios, and I don't want it to sound like, we're all tantaran, because I don't think we are. It's just that I think the work ethic that Marcelo instills in the kids to just work hard and to be humble and to be a good student of dance, to things like show up early for rehearsals, don't show up, Marcelo and I both, we met through Mr. Bright at Castle High School, who was a drama teacher there. And Mr. Bright used to say, um, on time is late, early is on time. So we try and
My dad used to tell me that.
yeah. So I think that's something that we try and tell the kids, and so it's something that they carry with them into the profession when they choose to become professional dancers. So we're just super super blessed that the kids have gone on to go and be successful, and still maintain their roots with us too. A lot of them come back
That's important.
teach classes, but yeah, we've just, we're just like, oh, that it's just us. We don't really, I don't know. I kind of get embarrassed when I look at the website, because I'm like, oh, we didn't put this together, but someone's, trying to, promote us, and, they're doing their job, and our job is to build the kids. So yeah.
What's been working? Like some of the accolades you have was what was it? So you think you could dance. I read that a lot of artists were background dancers for like Janet Jackson,
Yeah.
Christina Aguilera, Ariana Grande, like crazy, like big time artists. The people like on MTV, like I was reading that and I'm like, these kids were from Kaneohe doing big stuff like that. And like I wouldn't have, I heard like some stuff, but until reading the website, I didn't realize how many. It's a long list. And
Yeah.
anybody can go on it. What's the website? 247dance.org, and just look at what their dancers have been accomplishing throughout the time this studio's been open. It's mind-blowing. It's big time stuff, like Lady Gaga. Like I was like, this is unreal. Like, and disclaimer, my daughter does go to your guys' dance school, so I get to see firsthand how the interaction is. And I think I was telling you before, I like to people watch. So I go early to pick up my daughter, and I see the classes that are getting ready for when she's done the next class. And the way those kids interact with each other, it's like family. They're so happy. They hug each other like, oh, how was your day? It's crazy to see how close that you guys are with each other. Like it's like they're all sit down in a circle and just talk story. And it's like, this is cool. This is our community right here. This is how it grows. It's cool to see. Like those
Yeah.
kids are really proud, man. It's cool.
Yeah. I think that, when we're talking about the shutdown, I think that's probably one thing that the kids miss about each other, is being able to be with their friends before and after class. Just like in the school that I teach at, it's the same thing, that relationship you build with your students and with each other is critical, at any age, but especially at the kids' age. So, to be able to bring that back will be a good thing. So like I said, hopefully soon.
Yeah, I hope so too, because your guys' classes are pretty full. So that energy is a big difference. Like you
Yeah.
said, like 5 students compared to like 20 to 30.
Yeah.
It's a big difference.
Yeah. And even with the kids back in the studio, we still got a social distance. So even that energy is different, because they're apart. Even though they're together, they cannot hug. We gotta have them go out the studio one at a time, and do all the temperature check and all that stuff. But they've been so good about it. That's one thing is they know that in order to be back, they gotta do all these things to keep themselves safe, to keep the studio clean and stuff. So it's been nice having them back.
Oh
in that-
yeah,
yeah.
and kids are resilient, like
Yeah.
especially when they're doing something they're passionate about. So
Yeah.
I'm sure they'll jump through hoops just to be back in that studio doing what they love.
Yeah.
And like my daughter too, like she's itching to get back in there.
Yeah. Whoa, okay.
It's a funny story, because how I came to know you guys is I'm a nightclub promoter, and we are searching for go-go dancers.
Hmm.
And since I'm from Kaneohe, I knew some girls that dance. So we're like, oh, can you go dance for us? And they came and dance, and they were so good. Like we couldn't put them with any other dancers but 24/7 dancers. So we'd have to pair them up. It's like, okay, them two got to dance together because they're going to make everybody else look bad. And when I had my daughter and she explained to me that she wanted to dance, I was like, okay, I know where I'm taking her. This gotta be the spot. And I used to train and teach one of your instructors, Brent Koki, in
Oh, yeah.
Taekwondo. So I knew Brent. So I called Brent and he kind of set it up with you. And I got a text from you saying to bring her down. And I'm just like, I can't believe my daughter's at 24/7. Like, this is so awesome. And man, I cannot explain to you the first time I watched her dance on stage, like as a dad, like, and she was young, like super young, and she goes out there and like goosebumps, and it's like, oh, that's my daughter out there doing like, it's just so crazy, and it's such a good feeling. And I'm so thankful that she's a part of your guys' program, and I'm sure as many parents are the same way.
Yeah.
Your kid doing something
what concert
cool.
was that? Do you remember?
Oh, was it Wicked? No, it wasn't Wicked. Oh, she was maybe like 4 years old or 5 years old. It was the first one at the theater in Windward. Yeah. That was the first one I went to. And
because we did most of our concerts there. We used to do at Castle.
Yeah.
And then we moved to Paliku when that theater became available. Gosh, I don't even remember too, because that must have been because Aria is how old now? How old is your daughter?
She's 10. Yep.
She's 10. So maybe about 5 years ago she started.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. I see. I don't know when. We do like 2 or 3 a year. I'm like, oh, when was that one? Oh, that okay. I have to go look at a list and I go, oh, that was the year, because they all just kind of run together after a while.
Yeah, for sure. And those shows, it's a show, it's a production. Like in my head, the first time I went to the show, it was like, okay, we're gonna go watch like a talent show. Like, I don't know. So I'm sitting down and you guys have a production going. It's like, it's a show, and the place is packed. And the way that theater is tiered, so there's no bad seats. You can see everything. And I was blown away. Your production value, the music, the lighting, the sound, like these kids are experiencing a big production, and it's going to be second nature to them when they go on to a bigger thing, because it's not just some go on the stage and dance. They have costumes, they have production, and it's a big thing. They have intermission. Yeah, it's super cool. Like, one thing I'm grateful is because you guys had it where we'd have to get the tickets online.
Yeah.
And it was hard. Like because everybody wants to see your kids dance. So I have like my family, my friends, everybody wants to see her dance. So we're in the living room, like, okay, tickets go on sale 5:00. We got like 4 laptops out already. Like, it's like Bruno Mars tickets. Like, we got to get in. If not, we're going to have to scalp tickets. And you guys set it up to where you have, what is it, brown bag or paper bag?
Brown paper tickets was
brown paper tickets. And you give the parents priority. So I wasn't stressed out. I was like, okay, I got my tickets. We're good. Like, because those shows are so packed. There's not one seat empty. And it's so much fun.
Well, I mean, when I first started working at the studio, it was 12 years ago. We used to do paper tickets, and people would line up outside Windward Mall Friday night. Tickets would go on sale Saturday at like 10:00.
Really?
We would have class Friday nights, and I'd see some parents sitting outside the mall door with their lawn chairs. I'm like, what are you doing here? She goes, oh, I'm waiting for tickets. And I would show up at 9:30 in the morning, and there would be like a dozen people outside that wall, waiting for us to open. And then they would move inside when we open up the studio, and the line would go down that hallway around Dales. I was like, oh, the first time that happened to me, I was like, oh, this is not good. This is, it was like, concert tickets. I'm like,
Yep.
what? And people would stand in it, and they used to have to hand pick tickets, right? And so it took
Yeah.
a long time. So I felt bad. So for the longest time, we're trying to find a a good online platform. But that went on for at least 2 or 3 years, and I was embarrassed. I'm like, what? This is just, like I said, this is just us. It's just our concert, But with with every parent, with every child comes, at least two parents, right?
Oh
And then
yeah.
grandma, grandpa, auntie, uncle, brother, sister, and every family is buying about at least sometimes 10 tickets, one shot.
Yeah,
So
I'm one of
yeah,
those.
yeah. So
Arya
I'm
has a little fan base going on.
oh, that's good. Yeah,
And I have friends who dance that come watch the show and they're
yeah.
blown away by the production, and they're dancers, and they're just like that Danceforce has such great talent. And man, some of those kids, I remember there's I forget his name. I think Logan, or like that
Yeah,
little boy.
yeah.
And that kid, I cannot even describe how good and talented he is. Like, I'm watching him dance, I'm thinking, this is a little kid. Like, how can he be doing that? I can't believe the talent you guys draw out of these kids. And to see them perform with I mean, that people make mistakes or whatever, but the production, the talent, and it goes on. They pretty much perform without any mistakes, and that's hard to do. And you do what, 5 shows, 4 shows? It's crazy.
Yeah. The kids shows we usually do 5. We usually do 4 or 5. Um, yeah, I mean, it's funny you say they don't make mistakes, but we're standing on the side. We're like,
Counting them.
why'd they do that? But the thing is, that it's always hard work to get to that point. But just like how you felt when you watch your daughter dance, is like, there's that pride of
Oh
like,
yeah.
oh, look at what they're doing. And the being able to watch kids who stage fright, never performed in their life, shy in person, everything, and then they come on stage and their parents are like, that's not my kid. Who's that smiling? Who's that? And I think that's one thing about dance, about any kind of performing arts, is it gives you an opportunity to explore um, a side of you that other people don't get to see. The like I said, I only basically grew up 24/7, so I don't get a chance to go see
Yeah,
other
yeah.
dance concerts because we're all doing them at the same time, so it's hard to see. Or we're busy getting ready for the next one and whatnot. But I have gone to see it, and uh, overall, all the concerts that I see are just they're above and beyond recitals. People go, oh, I'm going to
Yeah,
go to that
definitely.
concert. But I think we've helped each other up each other's game, with making it the theme, making the costumes, making the lighting, video backgrounds and all that stuff. So I would say that we're kind of typical for a lot of the dance concerts, but also I appreciate, especially for the adult concerts, the creativity that Marcelo brings with the costumes, because you'd be amazed at what we do with duct tape.
Yeah,
Like,
duct tape fix everything.
no, not duct tape fix everything. Duct tape make costumes, kind. Like, like, like people would come and watch it. They go, "Oh, I like that costume," and then I'm all, "Oh yeah, that stripe was duct tape, and they folded over, or they this, or the adults would have like these elaborate helmet things, and you look close, and it's just duct tape molded to their head, and it's pretty trippy how much um, you can do with duct tape. Like you see those contests that duct tape makes with like the prom dresses.
Oh
Like,
yeah, yeah.
like we should send some of our costumes in to them, because they'd be like, oh wow, that's pretty good too. Uh,
That's
but
awesome.
but all the Marcelo is just, I mean, he lives, eats, and breathes 24/7. Like he literally is the studio 24/7, but he loves creating that kind of stuff, and he loves challenging himself. He loves challenging the choreographers and the kids to come up with something, not necessarily better, but different, to think differently. And it he tries to feed that to them, and then it feeds his creativity. And so there's always this give and take thing. So just like when there's a live audience, the when it's a live audience, there's that energy that the audience gives to the performers, and the performers turn it on and they give back. And so it's kind of that synergistic energy flowing between the audience and the performers. So same thing with Marcelo and our staff is, the more they feed him, he feeds off of them, and it kind of goes back and forth. So we're just I'm not Marcelo, and so that I'm like, wow, how do you even think of that? But
Well, I did notice that in the shows, you guys promote crowd participation, where most shows I ever went to, you got to be quiet, and you want the parents screaming and yelling, and it is good fun. And one thing I like about the shows is that the class you have for special needs kids, and when they come on stage, like I don't get emotional too often, but watching them perform, it's like, yeah, I'm not crying. That's like it's just water in my eye. I don't know, but those kids, when they are out there doing their thing, that's the most fun. Like that's one of my favorite parts of the show, other than watching my daughter. But how did you guys come about doing a special needs class for dance? I wouldn't think it would be possible.
I think I don't remember the year. I want to say in 1997, these two sisters, Ashley and Janelle Layfield, they came up with the idea of offering dance classes for special needs kids. I want to say Ashley was running for Miss Hawaii, and she wanted to incorporate that into her platform. So they started the class, and it started out as free. It's been free ever since we started awesome. It, and it was just finding finding a place to give back. Marcelo always encourages people to give back, always to pay it forward. We learned that again from Mr. Bright. It's like looking out for the other person who doesn't have as much as you, and to consider yourself fortunate to what you have. Marcelo would always says, we get to dance. You don't. It's a privilege to be able to dance. There are some people who cannot do what you do, and for whatever reason, but you get to, and so your choice is to be there, right? So going back to the heartbeat class was, I think it was the two sisters, and they both actually moved to California, and they started the same thing in Los Angeles. So it's called the
really?
Heartbeat. And so it's you see them all over too. Really, it's I think as a special education teacher, it's neat to see special needs students thrive in the arts.
Yes,
for sure. To watch them blossom, and it really opens your eyes to think, they're not I don't like to use the word disabled. They just have different abilities, Yeah. You watch some of them and you're like, you know what? She's more on beat than some of these other kids, and some
exactly.
Of these,
they're good.
There's one girl, like she will keep the beat. She might not have the most accurate movement, but she is right on beat, and she knows exactly what she's supposed to do. So that's why like you, when I first saw them at a concert that I went to, and they came out. I mean, I was sitting. I think it was at Castle. I was sitting in the back row, and I'm just like wiping my eyes. I'm like, wow, I didn't expect to be moved by it, But you sit there, and your brain starts going, wow, this is a challenge for just regular people. How hard it is for them, or what did they need to overcome, and the teachers too. What did the teachers have to overcome to get them to that point? So it kind of inspired me to go into special education too at that time. So
that's awesome. Yeah. And they're like, my biggest thing watching them is their face. they are so passionate and happy and proud. And it's
Yeah.
like you guys brought that out of them, and they're showcasing it with that attitude, that swag, like, yo, I'm a dancer. And oh man, it's chicken skin. Like that really is something special. I really enjoy that because they're good. Like they're not just doing anything. They're out there doing a routine, and it's fun to see. And I just like watching them smile. Like they're really
Yeah.
happy about
That
being there.
smile they have is like genuine. That is pure joy on
Yeah.
their face, and you know, they kind of love to show off a little bit. You know, they you know, they love the applause, and they just the same thing. I just watch their faces, and you just like, I could watch them
Oh
more.
yeah.
You know, when the number is always pounding, like, bring it back. Look. You know, I think one concert they had we had like a technical difficulty with the playback, so I'm like, and it was almost towards the end of the song. I'm like, you know what? Come back. We're gonna do the whole song over again. They're like,
Yeah.
you know,
And yeah, it's pretty cool to see. I like that. Um so talking about the show, one thing I did notice before every show you come out and give your speech, and it's kind of like the show cannot start until this happens. And two things, like you gotta tell everybody about the lasagna because they got the best lasagna. And like the way you talk about it is like, oh, I gotta try this lasagna. And they sell it in the concession in the front. But so that's always awesome. But for some reason, I don't know how this came about, is you get up on stage, do your introductions to everything, and the show cannot start until you do a full cartwheel. And every time that I'm at a show, I'm thinking like, okay, I hope this works out. Like, is it, because you get over, your legs go up, and it's. I tried. My daughter tried to teach me how to do it, and like it doesn't look like yours. And how does that come about? Two, do you warm up before you do that, or you just cold turkey start hulino on the stage? Like, how does that work? You're not doing
uh,
picking pineapples first or windmill.
um, well, it started out like, because you know, I would have a list of things that I would have to talk about, right? And so um, the the guy, our sound tech Toby at that time, would be there for all the shows and stuff, and so I would, you know, be going through my things, and of course I get up on stage and I'm just kind of, I don't like to like read from a script, you know. I'm just trying to just do it extemporaneously, just, you know, natural, just come out. But I sit there and I go, oh man, did I forget anything? And I would talk to Toby, and at that time, I think our light person was this girl named Hope, and I like, Toby, did I forget anything? And I'm looking up at the top at Paliku, and he's like, cartwheel. I'm all, huh? He said, cartwheel. So I'm all, oh. And then people are like, yeah, cartwheel, Allan, cartwheel. So I'm like, okay. So the first time I did it, I didn't warm up. And actually, to be honest, I don't warm up. It's like after I'm done, I'm like, oh man, I might need salon pass, or I might need a massage after this. But no, I don't. It really is just cold turkey. I'm like, oh, I
Oh,
gotta do this. That's right. And you know, because I'm backstage, take care of stuff, and that's like the least of my concerns is that cartwheel. But you know, that never fails. Somebody always goes, oh yeah, Allan, cartwheel. Don't forget your cartwheel. And if I forget, the kids will be watching on the monitors backstage, and they go, Mr. Allan, you didn't. You know, I'm sorry. I'll go out. I'll cartwheel at the end, or I'll do two cartwheels. I find a way to make it up for them. So, yeah.
yeah, you jinx the whole show. You don't do the cartwheel.
But it's funny, like, you know, everybody, not everybody, but you know, I'll get messages on Facebook or text to like, oh, that was a good one, or that one, that was like a 7 out of 10.
You graded, huh?
Yeah, yeah,
Well, you gotta do them what, 5 times if there's 5 shows, right? So
yeah. So and if I do them, what we would do maybe 3 concerts a year. So I would cartwheel at least 15 times minimum
oh,
per year. But yeah,
that's one of the favorite parts of the show.
yeah,
Another part, what I wanted to talk about at the end of every show, if you blink, you will miss it. But I notice it every time. It's right at the end of the show, before the curtains close, you guys have a flash of Mr. Ron Bright, who you mentioned already.
Mm.
And as a kid growing up in Kaneohe, my mom taught at Castle High School.
Oh
So
yeah, yeah,
she had a relationship with Mr. Ron Bright, who is the performing arts teacher there, right?
yeah.
And eventually the auditorium was named after him. But
Right.
I've heard so many magical stories about this person without hearing someone who really knows. So I always wanted to know more about Mr. Ron Bright just because I've heard a lot about him. My mom says beautiful things about this person, and it seemed like he touched a lot of children in Kaneohe, and he had some magic. And seeing now, like, his magic is still living on through what you guys are doing. I just want to know a little bit about him. Like, what can you tell me about Mr. Bright?
Oh my gosh. I don't know where to start. I would have to. I guess I would have to start by saying that we owe the founding of 24/7 to Mr. Bright, because um, Marcelo and I met Mr. Bright. We weren't friends before, and then a mutual friend of ours, actually, yeah, a mutual friend of ours introduced us to Mr. Bright, and he said, "Oh, you guys both dance. You should come audition for Flower Drum Song, because we need guys who dance, and you both are Orientals, because that show is about Chinese people in San Francisco." And so we're like, "Oh, okay." But prior to that, I hadn't known Marcelo either. I had known of him, but I was like, "Oh, I know this guy," because I was dancing a little bit in high school. But Mr. Bright, we got involved with the shows at Castle, and Marcelo was kind of doing other gigs outside around the island and things, and um, we both were asked to be part of the Miss Hawaii pageant through another friend of ours who wanted, she wanted to have, feature, guy dancers. And, back then, back in like the 80s or the 70s, 80s, guys didn't really do that kind of dancing. It wasn't the most masculine thing to do. So, to have guy dancers, especially with Miss Hawaii, it was on TV and everything, it was kind of a neat thing. And they wanted to add to their production as well. But what happened was the producer asked Marcelo to choreograph, and so Marcelo put together a bunch of guys, to a bunch of us from Castle to be part of his dance group. And so we danced at our first Miss Hawaii in 1990 as 24/7 Danceforce, 24/7 Dance Company Honolulu. I think we had a long name. It was like super long. But then he thought, oh, I wonder if, he thought about starting a dance company, and, and have it be all guys, all of us that performed. And, he asked Mr. Bright, what do you think? And Mr. Bright said, yeah, of course, go for it. Do it. So it was really Mr. Bright, and the producer of Miss Hawaii at that time was Tom McGarvey. So those two gentlemen were super influential in encouraging Marcelo to start 24/7. So that was like 1990. So that was our first Miss Hawaii. So, oh, sheesh, 30 years ago.
You guys still doing Miss Hawaii's, right? Dance first.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I don't know what they did this year because of the shutdown. I don't think they did anything. I think they're trying to do something, but we've done it every year since then. It was kind of like, it was a big deal if you got asked to be part of the Miss Hawaii group. Yeah, it was kind of like, um, uh, yeah, you just, it was something. You knew you had kind of made it at 24/7 if you if
Nice.
you dance on Miss Hawaii. But Mr. Bright, gosh, he I think part of that story is he believed in Marcelo. And so that's what we try and pass on to the kids, is believing in yourself. Mr. Bright became the biggest fan of anyone. He was your best friend. You're the most important person in the room. When he said hi to you, he took a genuine interest in you, and he really just brought that out of you. You know, brought just he wanted you wanted to do your best for him. We if you see the little quote at the end, when we flash his picture up there, it says "Believe in yourself," and it comes from this show that we did with him. From it's a line from a show called The Wiz, and that became like his anthem from like 1980, 85. That really he just really latched onto that word, and so now that word is all over. You know, inside Marcelo and my office, it's believe. And when Mr. Bright passed away 5 years ago, Marcelo made this shirt that said "Mr. Believe," and it's really he just really instilled that in both Marcelo and I, because we worked together as part of his production staff for the shows at Castle, and we saw him do that firsthand. He didn't push it on us. We just saw that, wow, this works with kids. It's better to motivate someone that way than to belittle them or to yell at them or scold them. And it's not to say that Mr. Bright didn't scold us. I can count on two hands the times that he yelled at us, but for pretty good reason. It was because we weren't doing our job. We weren't taking rehearsal seriously or things, but he just, oh man, that man oozed love. Like if there was someone who was the embodiment of just love and aloha and warmth, genuineness, kindness. You know, he opened up his house to everybody, like literally, like people. It was, you know, like how I said, you know, it was a thing to be part of Miss Hawaii. It was a thing to get invited to Mr. Bright's house for hot cocoa. Like, it was the thing, you know, if you had hot cocoa at Mr. Bright's house, you were like, oh, I had hot cocoa at Mr. Bright's house last night. People
He's
like,
in the inner circle.
yeah, no, but he would, you know, he would hear that and he'd go, oh, you like come, you know, and literally his door was open to so many of his students, and his family became your family. Like his family is like my third family. I had a second family, and it was through the friend that introduced us to Mr. Bright. These were my hula brothers, and so that was my second family. Like I spent so much time at their house too. But then once I met Mr. Bright, you just became part of his family, and his whole family invited you in. Not one of them, Auntie Mo, his wife, his three kids, Clark, Jody, and Michael, they just loved on you. And I think it's because they saw it in their dad and mom. And so they just naturally were extensions of his love. So that entire family is just so open and accepting of everybody. And they really, you wanted to be a part of that. You wanted to be around that energy, and you can't help but emanate that and imitate that too. So I think that's, you know, kind of what you feel when you see the kids at outside of the studio is we're trying to
For sure.
pass it on to the kids. You know, it's like, you got to love each other, you know, you got to appreciate each other and accept each other through your differences and everything. But yeah, Mr. Bright, wow, we owe so much to him. Yeah.
Well, you guys are doing the best thing you can for him is letting his magic still continue through you guys, through these kids and generations. And that's one of the reasons why I wanted you on here, was to talk about him, because maybe some of the younger generations doesn't know about him or know who he is, because especially in Kaneohe, he's a pillar of this whole community, and he has been. And I think his son is one of the band directors for the Royal Hawaiian Band.
Yep.
And I just found that out like right before we got on. But he been around for a while, and I always heard stories, and I always wanted to know more about him, because I know that he had magic, and people talk about him, and
Yeah.
it's always aloha and such a nice person. My mom was like always talking about him, and
Yeah.
it's cool to hear. And I think it's important that people know the lineage of where you guys started, and that same kind of magic is being passed down to the kids now, and that's cool. I mean, I'm sure he's very proud of you guys,
Uh,
and
we hope so. Yeah.
guarantee.
Yeah. I mean, the thing about like theater and dancing is it's just like sports, right? They teach you discipline, right? They teach you, you learn life lessons through doing those things, whether it's a football game or a basketball or soccer game or putting on a show, whether it's a dance concert or everything, you got to learn, show up on time. You got to practice, you don't practice. Your passing game is going to stink, right? If you don't practice, you
Yeah.
got to put in the practice. And when it comes to performance time, if you don't put in the practice, it shows. And the thing is that Mr. Bright taught us so much through the theater. We had it was another family there for a lot of my friends. The theater was a place that they felt accepted because either their own blood relatives didn't accept them or their friend group in school. It was a place where, regardless of whether you were, a jock or a geek or whatever, it's like in the theater, you became different person. We were all, um, there was a different playing field for us, and kind of the same thing at the studio too, right? I mean,
Oh
there's different
yeah.
levels of dancers, but we try not to favor, like you talked about Logan. I was gonna say, oh, Logan, if you're watching this, don't get all big head. But that was something Mr. Bright taught us, is like, stay humble, you know because there are people who are way better than you.
Yeah.
You have to face that, but you don't have to. You want to better yourself, not so that you can beat that other person, but you want to better yourself because you want to become a better person. You want to be a better dancer. You want to be a better singer. You want to be a better football player, not so that you can win the Heisman, but it's because you want to do what's best for you. And I think we see that in like Tua Tagovailoa, Marcus Mariota. Is like, these guys are rock stars in the sports world, but you look at them and they're like, oh, Tua came from Ewa Beach,
Yeah.
and went to Louis, and now he's up in on the mainland, and it's kind of the same thing. The kids that came out of our studio and dance with all those people you mentioned. It's just like, humble beginnings, and they still remain humble. And so I think that's the value that Mr. Bright taught us. A lot of people in that generation, they taught you just, hey, stay humble, you know,
Yeah.
and that will take you farther, I think, than
For sure.
self-promoting and all of that kind of stuff. I mean, you have to do that a little bit, but without being all high maka maka about yourself. It's like, oh, thank you. That's one thing Mr. Bright and Marcel always said, is that when people come up to you after your performance, they go, oh, you were so good in that. You just say thank you, and you just accept it. Or don't do the false, like, oh, no, 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 it's okay. The Oriental thing. Oh no,
Yeah.
they're appreciating you, so thank you. You just say thanks. I'm glad you enjoyed the show. Um, yeah, I mean, he I could go on and on about this. Yeah,
That's thank you for sharing that with me, for sure, because I always hear about him, and that's something I wanted to know more about. So for me, I used to teach martial arts. I wanted to ask you this. I would compete and I'd have a little bit of butterflies, but nothing too bad. But when my kids fought that I taught, oh, that's when I'd be the most nervous. When the kids would fight, I'd be like, okay, you got this. You got to warm up. And I'd just be nervous and just worried. When I fought, I'd be sleeping. Okay, wake me up when it's time to go. I was thinking, is it the same with you guys for dance? Because you probably competed and put on performances. Were you nervous as much as you are now when your students perform? Because for me, it was I could handle myself, but when the kids go up there, is way different. I get way more nervous for that.
I don't know. I mean, I think I'm more excited for them. I don't think I don't think I've ever been like nervous or gotten stage fright. I think one of the few times I remember getting stage fright was, of course, Miss Hawaii, because that used to be live, right? And you're like, oh, I don't want to mess up on live TV, and be the one everyone's like, oh, yeah, and you watch it on videotape, and you're like, oh my gosh. And when we competed with my hula halau for Mary Monarch, I think that
Oh,
was like
that's a
the
big
most
deal.
nervous I ever was, because that was a big thing. But I think I'm more excited for the kids, because I'm waiting for them to push through that nervousness. And we tell them, turn that nervousness into positive energy towards your performance. You can use it for, it's kind of like, well, you can use your power for bad or for good. It's kind of like that.
Yeah,
Use it for good. Channel it towards doing the best you can. And if you make a mistake, that's okay. I think that's one thing about live theater is like, it's okay if you make a mistake. What do? You're on stage, so you gotta work through it, or do you just sit there and go, oh man, I blew it? You continue, right? You just got to keep going. And so that's kind of like the life lessons. Like when you make a mistake, you just got to keep going.
for
Don't
sure.
make the mistake again, right? So yeah, I don't really get too nervous for them. Like I said, I'm super excited, especially if it's their first time.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm doing my best to like pump them up and like, all right, guys, you got this, kind of same thing. But I don't feel nervous for them. I'm just, like you, in the audience, you have that proud papa moment. It's just like, yeah, look, and they come off stage and you're high fiving them, and they're. Uh, I think the neatest thing is after we're all pow with all the performance of the last day, they're like the younger ones are like, "Hey, we're gonna do this tomorrow." I'm like, no, that's the last one. They're like, oh, they think that it's gonna keep going. We're like, just
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
no, we're done. We've done 5 in a row. But,
You're done.
yeah, we're done. No, we're pow. But it's something that uh, I can identify with that nervousness, but like I said, I don't really. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just like stoked for them to be out there and do your best, and you come up stage and they, oh, Mr. Allen, did you see that? I'm like, that's okay. You survived. Look, you can do it 3 more times tomorrow.
Yeah.
Try again tomorrow. Yeah.
Maybe I was nervous because these kids actually gonna get hit in the face or
Yeah,
something.
maybe.
That may be the difference.
Uh,
And if they get lickings, then the mom them gonna blame me because I'm the teacher. Maybe that's what it was.
uh,
Speaking of education, you're a teacher, right? In Ewa Beach, you mentioned about that. How has it been with this pandemic? Being that you're a teacher, everything got to be online. Like, do you like it better, or you like it hands on with the kids in your classroom, or is this a nice break for you?
um, I it's got its pros and cons. I like it, and then I don't. I tell the kids almost every class that I interact with, I tell them, I miss you guys being in my room. I miss being able to give you high fives, and just like in the dance class, to have that energy inside my room. Um, I miss that. I think almost all teachers miss having the kids, and we can't wait for them to come back. But we still want to be safe. Um, but I guess I'm also super lucky in that the line that I teach is not just reading and writing and math. I get to teach arts, so I do drama, music, dance, and fine art. We haven't done any fine
Wow.
art yet because not all of them have the supplies, and I'm like, oh, we're just gonna do what we can online. But I like it because it's it's been a challenge, trying to find a way to build that relationship. So I think because of the subjects I get to teach, I get to have fun with them. If my lesson is POW in 25 minutes, and even when they're in person, if we're done, then I'll be like, all right, we're gonna do a dance. So I've been trying to do that a little bit more. We're gonna, and I'll make up a dance, or I've got, I call a friend and like, hey, I'm gonna teach dance today. Can I borrow some of your choreography? Like, oh yeah, yeah, go ahead. Um, but I get to do kind of fun stuff with them, I hope the kids like doing it with me. But um, they they they're there, and I tell them, for the first couple of weeks, I'm going to be doing a lot of the talking, but eventually you folks are going to be doing the performing. We're going to do, you're going to start with kindergarten. We're doing nursery rhymes. We're doing storytelling. We're going to do some poems with some of the older kids, and I'm going to try and do some monologues with my sixth graders. So it's kind of it's a good challenge because I'm trying to find ways to teach them the same things that I would in person, but got to teach them differently, and yet make it engaging and interesting and exciting for them and for me too. Rather, because teaching the same thing over and over again, I'm just talking to
Yeah,
a
you gotta have
camera.
fun too.
Yeah, and so I try to have fun too, and I like talking with the older kids because sometimes I'll be like, oh, I like that question. Let's talk about this instead, and um, it is hard though. It is really really hard, and you can see the kids just kind of like So I'll tell them, what, turn off the camera. It's okay. I trust you're there. If you're not there, you're gonna miss what I'm teaching, but you know oh well, it's kind of trying to teach them you have a choice, right? You have a choice. They don't even have to log on, but
Yeah.
then when I see them, I'm like, oh, I missed you last week, and I'll try and catch them up and make them feel like they want to come back. But it's been hard, and for our school, we're still going to stay distance learning through December.
Oh wow.
um, yeah, some schools in other districts are coming back, half day and kind of like
Mhm.
that. But our principal, she's just kind of like, no, it's not safe for you folks, the teachers. It's not safe for the kids. I don't feel good about it. It doesn't feel good to me. Even though the numbers are going down, she's like, the numbers are still high enough where she's not comfortable. So she said, no, we're going to stay all the way through December. So I appreciate that about our administration, is they've been super supportive, um, offering help. Their doors are always open for problems, and they've been very um, receptive to feedback about things that work and don't work. And we try and, since March, we've had to change things so much.
Oh yeah. Yep.
That we're just kind of used to it. But it's been that good partnership with our administration team too. So yeah, it's been challenging. I won't take away from that. It is challenging, but um, I think, again, like Mr. Bright taught us, is like, well, what you gonna do? You can sit there and cry, or let's do something with it. Let's have fun doing it, and let's learn
Yep.
something. And I try and tell my kids that every day. It's like, okay, so did we learn something today? They go, yep. So did we have fun? Yep. I said, okay, that's all that counts. I did my
Yeah.
job. See you guys, and we'll log off. Um, so it's just something that we got to do, and until it's over, we're going to have to live this way and teach this way. But that doesn't mean we can't fix the problem, but it doesn't also mean we have to sit here and be miserable about it too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a good mentality to have. It's kind of like when I was teaching, I would always want to teach the kids class versus adult class, because I would teach the kids something and they all would try. I would teach them a kick and they would all try to fall down, keep trying until they get it. I would teach the adult class, teach them the same kick. They can give me 20 million reasons why they cannot do them. I said, you never even try, just try it. Like,
Try.
so
Yeah.
yeah. So kids are resilient, like we said before, but I know it's been challenging for them. Like my daughter had to do distance learning. Fortunately, she gets to go in class now, but
Good.
like for parents it's hard. Like
Yeah.
I always tell everybody I was trying to relearn fifth grade math and like it wasn't working out too good.
Yeah.
But what is the feedback you've been getting from the kids and their parents, like doing this whole thing?
uh I want to say our school area, they they've been just appreciative of everything that the teachers are doing, that we're doing for their kids. I mean, I know it's hard. Yeah, it's hard to like you said, learn fifth grade math all over again, and we do math differently now, right? You're like, what? That's
Oh yeah,
not
it's
even how.
so totally different.
Yeah, it's so
And you
different.
got to show your work. I tell you, all right, just grab this calculator and you be all good.
Um, but at least for our school, that we've gotten really good feedback. There haven't been, I think, a lot of complaints, at least that I haven't heard. It hasn't trickled down to to my level. And maybe our principal and vice principal, they kind of protect us from it. But I mean, it's not to say that there hasn't been challenges and there haven't been complaints, but I think overall for our school, they've been pretty positive. They've been pretty supportive. Um, you know, we've had to change some policies or things as things have changed along. And we're like, we're really sorry. This is another change, but this is just what's happening. So we appreciate your flexibility and support. And um, uh, I always tell the parents when I would interact with parents, just like with the students, like it's a partnership, right? It's not just you we're partnering with you to raise your child to be a student or a dancer. It's not just, oh, okay, they're yours for an hour now at the studio. It's like, no, we're trying to build upon what you've taught them, and hopefully they match, the values match. Same thing at school. It's we're trying to partner together, and I appreciate all the support that parents have been doing, like families rearranging their schedules so that they can be home with their kids. Some of them still have to go to work, so they've got grandpa or grandma learning how to work the computer.
Yeah.
Push what button, double click what, and okay, push the orange button, grandma.
Yeah.
No, the orange one. No.
That's so funny you say that. My mom, she's older and she's in this sorority for teachers.
Yeah.
And they had a Zoom meeting. So she had me put it on her computer. And then there's maybe like 15 of these older women. And for the first hour, how do you change the background? I cannot hear you. Oh, turn the button to the left. Oh, you gotta hit that. I come back in the room. I'm like, what's you guys meeting about? Just learning how to use Zoom. It's so funny, but hey, they're trying. At least they're trying.
Yeah. Same thing. It's just this, the same all over the world. Everyone learning how to use Zoom, how to use WebEx. We use WebEx at our school, and it's just,
I hate what they're saying. They're saying that this is gonna be the new norm, but I refuse to believe that. Kids need interaction with kids.
Yeah.
That's the norm, not the new norm. Like,
I think it's going to be part of what we do, but I don't think it's going to be the only way we teach. I agree. I don't think it's not the best way. I mean, even for an adult, you can do distance classes, online classes and stuff like that. But you still need to have that interaction. I think we're built to be social. We're social animals.
For sure. Yep.
That's why people have such a hard time social distancing and not going out to parties. It's like, oh, one time not going to hurt. It's like, no, don't go. Go. It's because we crave that, and so that's one thing that the pandemic has really pulled at is really pulled at our desire to really be with other people, to connect. For most people, you want to feel connected, and even like this is like, it's not the same, but I guess I got to get used to it. But I don't, like you said, I don't think I refuse to believe that this will be the only way we do it.
It can't be. Like, human nature is to interact, like you said. Like, this can't be the new norm. So everybody that I always hear, oh, this is a new norm. I'm like, no, it's not. It's the temporary norm. Like, we're gonna fix this. Like, it can't be. Okay, well, I think it's coming to that time of night where we're gonna have to ask the question of the week. I hope Boy Band John got it ready for us.
Question of the week is, what are the three? Crap, I gotta look at my text.
You had one job.
I know.
You got plenty jobs.
What is your three favorite Kaneohe establishments that are no longer here?
That are no longer here.
Can I count Blazing Steaks?
Oh, I thought, okay. You want to go first, or you want me to go first?
I gotta think.
Okay, I'll go first then.
Like restaurants or
anything, can be anything.
Anything. Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, now that just opened up a whole. Oh my gosh.
Like old school Kaneohe, like.
any
Not
establishment.
saying that we old or older, but
We're
we've
not
seen some
old.
things come and go, you know. Kind
Oh, I can name plenty.
You wanna go first?
Okay, if we're not talking just restaurant, the first
Yeah.
thing that popped into my mind was Play World.
Oh, that was one of mine.
Oh, this is
That
the
was
same
definitely
place.
one of mine.
Yeah, but Play World, I hadn't thought about that place until
Oh,
Don just
that was
mentioned it.
my
I'm like,
favorite.
oh,
Okay,
that was
I gotta tell you a story about Playworld. Okay, and this is when I was Kaneohe. So remember they had the icy, right? The
yeah.
icy machine in Playworld. So I'd get the biggest icy, and I would drink like half of it. And if my mom hears this, she's gonna be salty. So I drank half of it. And back in the day, marbles was the thing, right?
Yeah.
And you remember the marbles came in like a net bag.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you just take your two fingers and pull the net open a little bit. So I'd walk past the marbles and have my half empty icy and just pour all the marbles inside the icy, and then I was out. That's how I got my marbles. But
Oh my gosh.
Play World, like that was my
What's the
by far.
the statute of limitations for
Yeah,
that?
I know I can't get busted now.
I hope it's Paul.
Yeah.
Oh my
But
god.
yeah, Play World. I can't believe you took mine.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
remember the icy, and I remember going inside there and all the Lego. I used to look
yeah.
at all the Lego and all the games and stuff. Okay, you go.
Okay, my second one would be something I would go to like a teenager was Corner Pocket. Corner Pocket used to be by Times. It was a billiard and arcade place.
Yeah.
And I would always go to Corner Pocket and hang out with friends and play pool. It was just like my hangout. So I love that place. And I was so disappointed when it well, you kind of know why they closed, but since they closed, I was super bummed out. But Corner Pocket would be my number two.
Oh my gosh. Um. Okay. I remember Windward City
Yeah,
have tiki tops, but
yeah.
the one thing I remember about whenever we would go to tiki tops, two things. First was when you would wait outside, Foodland used to have the stone wall that would go up to the roof.
Oh, I kind of remember that.
They made it a flat wall now, but you used to be able to walk up and down that wall. Like you could literally walk up the roof to Foodland on
And
Foodland.
Fulan has like a dome kind
The
of
dome,
roof, huh?
yeah, the dome.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I don't think anybody ever went past the white. But we would walk up and down there. We'd run up and down there, and but that and then Tiki Tops used to have a corner booth and had four in my family, but my grandma lived with us. So whenever there was five of us, they would put you in the corner booth. So the corner booth was super special because we're a small kid, right? So we would always want to sit on the inside. So my sister and I we would like scoot all the way over, and my dad and mom and my grandma would have to sit on the outside. But that I remember Tiki Tops. That was an old Kaneohe place that
Yeah.
I yeah.
I vaguely remember Tiki Tops. I definitely remember seeing the tikis and the sign. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, so my third one, I would have to say, and probably for nostalgic reasons, it would probably be the Kaneohe Twin Theaters. I has so many good memories there. I seen like my mom would take me to see like all kind of movies, and it was like the 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 best. It was like towards the ending, it got kind of run down, but
Yeah,
it was always $2 for the movie,
yeah.
like 50 cents for the popcorn. There's this big lady that worked there, and like she was very intimidating. So it was like, oh, we would always like junk in a pool. Who gotta go get the candy because they had to talk to that lady. But Kaneohe Twin Theaters, and I got my first kiss there when I was in like intermediate. So it was like, yeah, that was gotta be one of my favorite places in Kaneohe.
Oh my
Like growing
gosh.
up, Kaneohe Twin Theaters.
Uh, um. Okay, so my third one, it's kind of a tie, and they're both food places. So the first one was where Burger King is now, is called Wendy's
Oh,
Drive-In,
oh,
and
I
they
don't
used to
remember
have,
that one.
oh, that place was old, but they made the best French fries, like
Oh,
the crinkle cut French fries. Like they would like they were just perfectly crispy, and you would just douse it in ketchup. But that was one. And then where Zippy's is now and the mall, there used to be, I don't know what the name of it. I want to say it was called the Knight's Table, or the not Round Table Pizza, um, but it was some drive-in restaurant. It was another like standalone drive-in old school restaurant, but
oh,
had that, but never had Windward Mall. Used to have just a cow pasture
yeah, yeah.
where the mall was, and my friend, my schoolmate from elementary used to live there, so we would walk her down um Haiku Road, and she would walk into, we're like, oh, you live in the cow pasture? She's like, yeah, that's my house. Why? But had that castle restaurant. I can't remember what it's called, but I, that's all I
We're gonna
remember.
have to
I don't
try
know
and figure that one out.
yeah, I'm trying to remember now. That one, and then there's another restaurant at the bowling alley
Oh,
in where
was it
uh,
Windward Bowl? Was it Windward
Woodward
Bowl?
Bowl. Yeah,
Yeah,
there was
yeah.
there was a restaurant over there that I can't remember the name, but all the places had to do with food.
Except Play Road.
Oh no,
But Play Road
flavor
had icy.
icy and bubble yum. I used to
Oh, yeah.
bubble yum and bubblicious from over there. Yeah,
Jeez, what? I have
and
one more that I can try and remember was a roller skating rink back in the
oh
day. Do you
yeah,
remember that? Was
yeah,
by Nankos, right? Where
yeah.
Nankos is?
Was Roller World, I think.
Yeah, I had a birthday party there one time.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Um, Bayview Golf Course used to have a good restaurant, another restaurant, yeah. But
Oh,
they used to have really good prime rib, and Haiku Gardens. Back in the day, Haiku Gardens, before, you used to be able to walk all the way around that pond.
oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, because my grandma lived up along the hill. You could see her house from like the back of the backside of the trail. And the one thing I remember about Haiku Gardens was you would go like at dusk, and you would hear the frogs.
Oh, yeah. You still yet
Yeah,
can, huh?
yeah.
Yeah.
I haven't been there for a long time though, but yeah, all the food
Oh.
places.
Hey,
Farrell,
Kaneohe had some grinds, huh?
yeah. Remember Farrell's?
Yes, you know why? When I was a little kid, I had my sister's birthday was there. And do you remember they had like this big bass drum when you
Yeah.
first walked in? When somebody's birthday, they'd bang the drum. And I was so angry. They didn't bang the drum for her, and they never let me. And I remember walking out and grab my slipper and I bang them a couple times. Not realizing everybody was going to hear it. Oh, I remember getting busted for that.
Uh,
Yup, Pharaohs
I
was
remember that.
where was where Smitty's was, right? The bank now.
Yes, it was
Or first
Smitty.
it was by next to Long's, right? Pharaohs was next to Long's.
Yes, was next to Long's.
Yeah.
Where what had? Oh, do you remember Penguins?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, Penguins and Perry Boys.
Oh, that one I don't remember.
You remember Perry
Oh,
Boys Smorgy? You would have liked it because you could do the soft serve ice cream.
oh.
That was one of the first places I remember you could serve your own soft serve ice cream, and everybody would go over there, and they would have chocolate and vanilla, and you could do the swirl.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that was a
What
good
else was
place.
there? Haoli's? Haoli's was
Oh
the
yeah,
yeah, Haoli's.
yeah. How old these? Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. What else? Do you remember Cornet store? Are you
I
that?
do.
Oh,
I do. Oh, not that old. It was where was that? Was that by Times? Was where yeah, where Corner
yeah,
Pocket used to be,
yeah.
right?
It was corner pot. I mean, corner.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
was, yeah.
Oh, I'm aging out right now. Gems, remember Gems?
Gems, and Sears used to be where Ross is. That used to be.
Oh, I don't remember that part.
Yeah. See, you're not as old as me.
How about
You
no
said
Patty's
season.
Kitchen? Patty's Kitchen.
What it?
The
Patty's Chinese Kitchen.
The Manapua.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, what?
Harpo's Pizza. That was a good one.
Harpo's, Shakey's.
Oh, where was Shakey's?
Shakey's is where a certain lingerie shop
Oh,
is.
essentially yours.
Yeah.
I wasn't gonna say the name, but if you want to advertise for them, go ahead.
What was it? Round Table there too?
Round Table. Oh, and then where American Savings Bank is now used to be Han Fed.
Yup. I had my first bank book from them with the Flash Gordon dude on top.
Oh yeah, that. And then after that, you upgraded to the Gold Card.
Oh.
The ATM. It was like your first. Oh my gosh, that was like unlimited money. I was like, oh, I get money.
Yup.
Yeah, and then Brady's like, oh, how come I owe money to my bank account? I am overdrawn.
Han Fed, yeah.
From that. Yeah.
Oh,
Oh my
man.
gosh.
That's
what
good
used to be-
times. What is that?
No, what used to be by Kimchi, the Texaco across from American Savings.
Texaco.
Now it's Aloha Gas.
Oh.
So had kimchi.
I don't know. Had Rosie's Boathouse on the other side. Remember Rosie's Boathouse?
Oh yes.
Yeah, I remember that because I had the wooden wheel. Didn't
they have a
boat
man
wheel?
like a
Yeah. Yep.
that cigar guy or
Yeah.
something.
Yeah.
And then Pockets used to be Golden Crown. We used to eat there all the time.
Oh yes, I ate. What was good there? The scallop soup. Yeah. From Golden Crown. Yeah, that was winners.
that was like everybody had their graduation party there.
Yeah.
It was just like the place before quinoa.
Yeah.
We're gonna have dinner. Golden Crown. Yeah. Sheesh.
Oh, right on. We could definitely talk old school Kaneohe for like a couple hours.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's wrap this up. We've been going for a while. Let's see. To shout out your guys 24/7, how can they find you guys?
Our website, 247dance.org. Let's see. I think we're on Instagram, 24/7 Danceforce. And I don't even know if our Twitter account is active. But those probably our website is the easy, or now that we're open, come by Windward Mall, and we're upstairs by the theaters, in the corner by the theaters where Payless Shoes used to be. The corner is empty now. No more GNC anymore.
Oh really?
Yeah.
I didn't know they closed.
It was in May, I think. So
wow.
yeah, I think the pandemic kind of closed them down. They tried to hold on, but just come by or email Tad, and then he'll get in touch with me.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely put people like, if you have a child and they're into dance, you guys got to get them in there. They'll bring whatever magic they have in them already. They'll bring it out, because I've seen it firsthand with my daughter, and I can't even describe watching her perform. Like I'll have that in my head forever. It's magic. And you guys have these kids doing crazy stuff, and it's like a beacon of aloha and light in the middle of Kaneohe, and these kids are doing big things. And even if they never take their dance career further, the confidence and the camaraderie and the aloha they're getting from your guys' studio is going to be life-changing. They're going to take that with them throughout the rest of their life. And as a dad, I'm so thankful for my daughter being in your guys' program, because just like she gets so excited. What day is it? Today I dance. Like, oh, right on. Yeah. And like I said, I watch the kids around there, and it's magic. Yeah. It's definitely Ohana style. It's definitely awesome for the Kaneohe community to rally around these kids and watch them do magic. It's unbelievable.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's, we wouldn't be around if we didn't have parents like you supporting your kids, and yeah, thanks for those kind words. That it means a lot, to hear that, coming
For
from,
sure, for sure.
that we don't get to hear. We don't get to hear it often, from that feedback. So thank you. Thanks.
Right on. Well, you can find us at atvpod.com, on Instagram, Above the Bridge Podcast, and you can see our YouTube. This will be uploaded on YouTube and also on Olelo, and our YouTube channel is Above the Bridge Pod. Allan, thank you so much for doing this. I was so stoked when you told me yes. I was like, I'm gonna shoot my shot. I'm gonna DM him, and maybe he gonna hit me back, maybe not. And then when you responded and being able to talk to you before jumping on this, I was like, oh, I'm very thankful, and I definitely appreciate it. And yeah, and we'll probably do this again. And we got to get more kids to the school. You guys are reopening up, and yeah, I thank you so much for helping me do this.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. I mean, my pleasure. Yeah, we can talk about old school Kaneohe more.
Oh, I definitely gonna have that conversation in person. Yeah.
All right. Thanks so much.
Right
It's
on.
been a pleasure.
Yep. And always shout out to the Artist Groove Network. Aloha.